Hello, welcome to lesson 4. So this time around we're going to be looking at drop thumb technique. I like to get this one in nice and early because I think it's one of the most useful techniques you'll learn on the banjo, and it opens up a whole load of stuff that you can play. So in order to do that, we're going to look at some exercises and then we're going to learn the song Sourwood Mountain. So that was Sourwood Mountain, a cheery little song. It has words, you can look those up and learn them if you fancy doing that kind of thing. In fact, actually, when you're learning a tune, if it's got words, it can actually help to remember the melody and to learn the tune by learning some of those words, because we're all naturally singers. And so that helps sort of embed that melody and try and actually think about what that melody is while you're playing, rather than it just being a series of actions on the banjo, if that makes sense. In fact, even with fiddle tunes, if they don't have words, if you're struggling to kind of internalise that melody, then you could make some up and help yourself learn the melody that way. So we're in standard tuning, that's G, D, G, B, D. So make sure your banjo's in tune before we start. And before we get into learning that tune, we're going to look at this technique of drop thumb. So drop thumb technique then, or drop thumbing. It is as it sounds. Your thumb comes down onto one of the strings lower towards the ground than the 5th string, which is its usual home and resting place. And when you do that, you use it in exactly the same way. So you're still not plucking the strings in a traditional sense, you're just letting it make a sound as it comes up. And it comes in place of that 5th string, so it's still on the offbeat, so you've got the 1 and 2 and 3 and, so it's on the ands there. So the way I tend to think of the right hand on banjo, and I think I mentioned this earlier on, is that you've got this series of preset positions, and it's the distance between your striking finger, and for me that's my middle finger, for you that might be your middle or 1st finger, and your thumb. Now, when we're playing on the 1st string and the 5th string, that's your widest distance. And I kind of think of it like a ratchet or something very digital rather than analog. So you've got that big gap. If you then go to play on the 2nd string and the 5th string, it's slightly smaller. Now, if you then take that exact same hand position, so keep that slightly rigid, it doesn't want to be tense but just a little bit rigid, and move it across, so you're going 2nd, 5th, now try it on 1st and 4th string, so D, D. Now there will be a difference in feel. Obviously your 5th string is a lot thinner than your 4th string. I would say for me on my banjo it feels like it's at a slightly higher tension. For your banjo that might be slightly different, it depends on what strings you've got on your banjo and all that kind of stuff. So it will feel slightly different, so bear that in mind. But if you can try and think of it as that position, it becomes a lot easier. So the first exercise that I want you to look at here is just trying and then moving across the string. So no drop thumb here, just getting used to those ratchet positions, and being aware of the distance between your thumb and striking finger as you do that. Okay, so I've got my metronome set to 60, but I'm treating it as 30. So the pace we're going to be going is da, da, ga, da, da, ga. And we're going to do this first exercise nice and slowly. repeat until you're happy and increase the speed gradually. So for this next exercise, we're going to start doing some drop thumbing. So we're going to start with the widest hand position that can involve drop thumbing. So that will be the B to G and the D to D. Now for this exercise, we're working with that clawhammer rhythm, the da, da, ga, da, ga, da, and bringing your thumb to rest on the string that's going to be that thumbed string again. Now if I was playing this ordinarily, for all but that dropped thumbed low D, my thumb would be resting on that 5th string. But because I'm trying to get your hand used to these positions of that set, preset, and staying in that preset, when you move across to the D string, actually rest on that D string as well. So you're not moving your hand distance, it's still going to be that 4 strings apart hand preset distance. So we're going to start with da, da, ga, D, D to the low D, and then we're going to get a little bit narrower, and we're going to have G to G, and then move across to B to D, and then we can do another one, high D to the low G there, and then working back, and we can just repeat that round in a cycle. So practicing all of these really slowly with the metronome. Give yourself loads of time. So this is a speed to start with, even before you start your metronome. So you're really focusing on getting that finger to rest where you want it, that sort of speed. And then the final one, just string next to each other, so you can go round if you want to. Da, 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 da. So you're just moving across the strings, getting used to changing where your arm is going to and your whole hand, but that finger position stays in its preset shape, as it were. So exercise 2 then, again at 30 beats per minute, but with the metronome set to 60. Right, so we're going to start here, 4 strings apart, so a gap with 2 in the middle there. So 3 and 4 and 3, 3, 5, and then move across. And repeat. Next one, gap of 3 strings. Move across. Move across. And back the other way. And repeat. Gap of 2 strings, so really close. Move across. And again. And that's that, and again repeat as necessary, nice and slowly, gradually increase the speed. So for this third exercise then, what we're going to be doing is starting to mix up those hand preset positions. So we're going to start out with the 1st to the 2nd string, and then the 1st to the 5th. So you're getting the string to sound every time under the thumb. It's not that usual da da ga da da ga rhythm. We're going to go da ga da ga da ga da. Really nice nice way to fill space over a chord or something. Once you're happy with that, slowly of course, we're going to move on to, so D to the lower G, the middle string that is, and then to the 5th string. So getting a bit wider, and then we're going to go D to the low D, and then the 5th string, until that becomes really nice and comfortable. So let's play this slowly again with the metronome, again at 30 beats per minute, but with the metronome set to 60. And we're going to start with this one here, 3, so D to B string, and then D to G string. 3 and 4 and. Repeating. Now we're going to move to the lower G in the middle. Repeat. And then we're going to move your thumb across to the low D. So now if you repeat that lots of times and gradually increase the speed, having gone through all those exercises, you should be really nice and comfortable with drop thumb technique and ready to move on to this tune, Sourwood Mountain. Before we look at the melody, I'll just take you through the chords. So we've got G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 2, G, 2, 3, 4, D7, 2, G, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, G, 2, G, 2, 3, 4, D7, 2, G, 2, and then B part, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, so 3 bars of G, and then D to G, D7 to D7 to G. So those are your chords. So let's look at this melody then. So we start by just moving across the open strings, starting on the G, B, D, and play the D again. Da, 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 and then da, 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 da. We're in 2nd position for that one. So 1st finger there, reaching up with your 4th to the 5th fret, and then open, open. Da, 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 da. Adding in the 5th string. Da, da, ga, da, da, ga, da, da, ga, da, da, ga. Next bit. So we've got the brush in there, D, open, and then brush the open strings, open top string again, 2nd fret, again with your 2nd finger, so we're in 2nd position, and then drop thumb on the top 2 strings open, and then down to the 2nd fret on the G string. This little bit you might want to practice slowly, da, 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 without the left hand in even, so when you're happy with that, da, da, bring in that finger, and then open G, brush, 5th string, da, 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 da. So adding in the 5th string to those bars 3 and 4. The whole A part. And you repeat that. And then the B part. So you got G, brush, G, brush, B, G, all open, and then 2nd fret on the D string, which is an E, open G, open D, sorry, da, da, adding in the 5th string, da, da, ga, da, da, ga, da, da, ga, da, ga. Last couple of bars. similar to what you've already had. So it starts with G, B, D, E, so second fret on the D string, and then the same ending as the A part, that drop thumb. Da, 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 down, brush, da, 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 adding in the fifth string. Da, 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 brush. If you're finishing up, I wouldn't bother putting in that final brush. Da, 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 da. But if you're going into repeat, or if you're going back round to repeat the whole tune, so back into the A part, I'd add the brush in there as well. So if you take some time to get that under your fingers, use your metronome, and then let's have a try at playing it slowly together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we've come to the end of the lesson, and if you're enjoying this lesson series, you can support me by either buying the accompanying book or leaving a tip. Also, I love to see your comments and all that kind of thing and hear how you're getting on with it. It's really interesting to know what sort of thing people are getting out of this. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.